Good
We almost had that shit.
Well, it started with a missing persons case first exposed by our 8 News Now investigators, and it ended with an alleged kidnapping and murder connected to a pro basketball player, sex work, and now a California double murder.
In December 2023, 23-year-old Morena Rogers, a medical assistant from Washington State, was reported missing during what was supposed to be a routine trip to Las Vegas. Days later, her remains were discovered in a remote desert area in Henderson, Nevada, a place far removed from the bright lights and crowded streets of the Strip. The shocking discovery quickly led investigators to 27-year-old former NBA G League player, Chance Comanche, who had most recently played for the Stockton Kings. He was charged with murder with the use of a deadly weapon, conspiracy to commit murder, and first-degree kidnapping. Alongside him, 19-year-old Sakari Harnden faced the same charges: murder with a deadly weapon, conspiracy to commit murder, and first-degree kidnapping. According to court documents, detectives believed the motive might have revolved around a Rolex watch, hinting at a possible robbery setup. Comanche reportedly confessed to planning the killing, and both he and Harnden were taken into custody, facing open murder charges in connection with Morena's death. This story takes us to Las Vegas, a city famous for its shimmering skyline, world-class entertainment, and once-in-a-lifetime experiences. Morena, often called Morena by family, came from a small, tight-knit family in Seattle. Losing her father, the man she once described as her first protector, created an emptiness in her life that never fully went away. She leaned heavily on her mother as she pushed forward with her goals. She graduated from Lincoln High School, then enrolled at the University of Washington Bothell in 2018 to pursue a nursing-related path. She was ambitious, determined. She worked as a medical assistant at Providence Sacred Heart Medical Center, became a certified phlebotomist in 2022, and by April 2023, she held a position as a scrub nurse at Overlake Hospital Medical Center. In October 2023, she even picked up a remote job as a field agent for PHP Agency, hoping to build financial stability and independence for her future. But behind her accomplishments, Morena was vulnerable. Her father's death left a quiet ache she carried into adulthood. And because she longed for connection, she sometimes trusted the wrong people. Individuals tied to gang activity who exposed her to dangerous environments she wasn't prepared for. Over time, her circle included people who claimed to care for her but who ultimately took advantage of her. Some friends acted more like pimps, and her boyfriend reportedly encouraged her into prostitution. A female friend acted as a bottom, arranging dates and controlling access. Morena believed these people were looking out for her, when in reality, they were pulling her deeper into a world built on manipulation and exploitation. This isn't the story of someone who chose to run away. This is the story of someone whose life was taken from her. The last time anyone heard from Morena was the evening of December 5, 2023. She had ordered an Uber to Summerlin, a community on the west side of Las Vegas, but she never arrived. She had been sharing her location with her friends and family through her phone, something she did regularly to stay safe. But then something unsettling happened. Her final location pinged around 3 a.m. on December 6, near Restless River Street, about 11 miles south of the Strip and close to the Reno Freeway. It was a place she had absolutely no reason to be. By morning, everything went silent. No texts, no calls, no updates. Her friends and boyfriend felt a wave of panic because they knew instantly that something was wrong. When they checked her place, they realized she had left behind everything: her car, her money, her debit cards, and all her belongings. Nothing was taken with her. Nothing made sense. They did the only thing they could. They reported her missing. From the very beginning, investigators sensed that this wasn't a typical missing person case. Morena wasn't someone who disappeared on her own. She had no history of running away, no pattern of unstable behavior. She was a young woman with a steady job, a close and supportive family, and pets waiting for her at home. The moment detectives learned she had left behind her car, phone, debit cards, and every means of accessing money, the alarm bells were deafening. Nothing about her situation suggested a voluntary disappearance. This wasn't random. Someone had taken her. But who would want to hurt her and why? As investigators started piecing together the timeline, they naturally turned their focus toward the people closest to Morena. One name surfaced almost immediately: 19-year-old Sakari Harnden, a young woman described as one of Morena's Las Vegas friends. But the deeper detectives dug into Sakari's background, the more troubling details they uncovered. Rumors pointed to emotional instability, involvement in prostitution, and connections to people living fast, dangerous lifestyles, starkly different from the steady, hard-working life Morena had been trying to build. If you're finding these stories meaningful or informative, please consider subscribing to our channel. It really helps us keep bringing you more content like this. Sakari was reportedly the last person to see her alive. According to detectives, the two had arranged to meet in Las Vegas, and that meeting quickly became a central point of the investigation. Yet the nature of their relationship remained unclear. Were they friends? Was this a business arrangement? Or something else entirely? From the start, Sakari's story was inconsistent. She claimed she barely knew anything about what happened to Morena. But as surveillance cameras began filling in the gaps, detectives uncovered footage from the night of December 6 showing Sakari and Morena together inside a Las Vegas liquor store. Clearly, Sakari knew far more than she admitted. And she wasn't the only person in the frame. Another name began surfacing during the investigation: Chance Comanche, a former NBA G League player and Sakari's ex-boyfriend. His involvement added an unexpected twist. Once a standout high school star in Los Angeles, Chance had played for the Arizona Wildcats before going undrafted in 2017. He later bounced between G League teams, the Memphis Hustle, Cleveland Charge, and the Stockton Kings. He even had a brief stint with the Portland Trail Blazers in April 2022, scoring 7 points in a single NBA game before returning to the G League. And then came a detail investigators couldn't ignore. The Stockton Kings had a game in Henderson, Nevada on December 5, the day before Morena disappeared. Despite being Sakari's ex-boyfriend, Chance was reportedly present during the planned meeting with Morena. Was it a coincidence? Or was he there for a reason far darker? What began as a missing person investigation spiraled into a tangled web of relationships, grudges, and buried tensions. Detectives honed in on both Sakari Harnden and Chance Comanche, especially as their stories contradicted each other and the circumstances around Morena's disappearance grew more suspicious by the hour. The answers investigators eventually uncovered revolved around a Rolex watch, a dangerous rumor, and a deadly plan. According to reports, Sakari owned a Rolex that Morena had casually mentioned to mutual friends. But the situation was far more complicated than simple jealousy. Information began circulating that Morena had been telling people Sakari's boyfriend, 18-year-old rapper Iojua Ebk Luplay Satawa, had been arrested for a double murder in California, and that Sakari was the one who snitched on him. Then investigators uncovered the disturbing truth: text messages between Sakari and Chance. Messages that revealed not panic or fear, but planning. Cold, deliberate planning. In one message, Sakari allegedly wrote, "So we fa just take her there and then fin strangle her." These weren't words spoken in the heat of an argument. These were the groundwork of a murder. The text became the smoking gun that transformed the investigation from a frantic search into a full-fledged homicide case. While early reports suggested the motive might have stemmed from a Rolex watch, deeper investigation revealed an even darker trigger. The rumor about snitching, not the watch, was what lit the fuse. Even though Morena later tried to apologize and smooth things over, it didn't matter. Sakari had already made her decision. In her mind, Morena had crossed a line that couldn't be undone. She decided that Morena had to go. And she knew exactly who she wanted beside her when the plan went into motion. But the messages uncovered by investigators revealed an even darker layer to the plot. Before Chance Comanche and Sakari Harnden decided to carry out the murder themselves, Chance had reportedly tried to hire someone else to kill Morena. He allegedly offered $3,000 for the job. This detail added a chilling level of premeditation. The fact that he could not find anyone willing to commit the act didn't stop him. Instead, it seemed to harden his resolve. If no one else would do it, he and Sakari were prepared to handle it on their own. Their cold determination painted a disturbing portrait of two people ready to go to extreme lengths to silence Morena forever. With their twisted plan set, the trap was laid on the night of December 5. Morena was lured into what she believed was a double date. Chance Comanche posed as a client interested in a bondage-style encounter, offering $1,000 for an hour. In a message to her, he wrote, "If possible, I was thinking $1K for like an hour, and then possibly longer depending on how the vibes go." This offer, crafted specifically to entice her, set the stage for her final moments. What looked like a lucrative opportunity was, in reality, a carefully engineered setup, one that she would not survive. She walked straight into the trap, unaware she was stepping into the final hours of her life. One of the last images of Morena was captured on surveillance footage that same night. The video shows her entering a Las Vegas liquor store with Sakari Harnden, the woman investigators would later identify as one of her killers. At the time, it appeared to be an ordinary stop, just two women grabbing supplies. But in hindsight, this mundane moment became haunting. The liquor store owner later testified in court, providing the footage that showed a calm, unaware Morena. She had no idea she was walking beside someone who had already decided her fate. The ordinariness of the clip is devastating, a reminder of how quickly life can shift from normal to tragic. What happened next is horrifying. According to Chance Comanche's confession, the meeting took place inside a vehicle he was driving. What began as a staged escort encounter quickly turned into a brutal act of violence. Chance drove the car to a secluded spot and zip-tied Morena, allegedly pretending it was part of the kinky request he had mentioned earlier. He admitted to strangling her with an HDMI cord for about 10 seconds before stopping when she fought back. But Sakari continued. She placed her hands around Morena's throat and squeezed until she stopped breathing. This was not a moment of rage. It was intentional. It was planned. It was murder. After killing her, Chance and Sakari drove to a remote desert area near Henderson, Nevada. There, they dumped her body in a ditch and tried to conceal her with rocks. That barren stretch of desert, quiet, empty, forgotten, became her final resting place. The callousness of their actions is deeply unsettling. To treat her life as disposable, as if she were an object to be discarded, is heartbreaking. The area near Horizon Ridge Parkway and Gibson Road is now forever linked to this tragedy. That desert held a secret, one that investigators would eventually uncover. The search for Morena ended in heartbreak, but the investigation was only beginning. On December 13, 2023, exactly 1 week after she was reported missing, police made their first arrest. The plan to lure her had been more elaborate than anyone realized at first. Sakari had convinced her to come to Las Vegas by promising they could make $4,000 in a single night with NBA clients. Believing this could be a real opportunity, Morena's childhood friend Garrett and her boyfriend Tane drove her from Washington to Las Vegas on December 1st. Once they arrived, Sakari continued arranging dates for her, making the entire setup believable. Then, on December 5th, Chance, using a text now number Sakari instructed him to use, posed as a client and offered the $1,000. The trap was complete, and tragically, Morena had no reason to suspect any danger. Sakari Harnden was the first to be taken into custody, initially charged with first-degree kidnapping. Investigators, however, believed this was only the beginning. They suspected a far more serious crime had been committed. At her first court appearance, her bond was set at $500,000, but the full truth of the case had not yet come to light. Court records later revealed that Sakari admitted to detaining Morena Rodgers against her will, with the intent to kill her or at least inflict serious harm. She also faced a separate theft charge for allegedly stealing a Rolex watch, an incident investigators believed was connected but technically filed separately at first. The investigation tightened quickly. Just 2 days after Sakari's arrest, on December 15th, Chance Comanche was apprehended in Sacramento, California. FBI agents arrested him on kidnapping charges and held him pending extradition to Nevada. The involvement of the FBI underscored just how serious and complex this case was becoming. Court documents later showed that Chance confessed to strangling Morena alongside Sakari. He told investigators the alleged motive came from a dispute between the two women over a Rolex watch. Both had been involved in sex work, and although Harden and Chance had broken up months earlier, they stayed in contact, and according to prosecutors, continued talking long enough to plan Morena's murder together. With both suspects in custody, investigators finally obtained the information they needed to locate Morena. Acting on the details provided, authorities discovered her remains in a desolate stretch near Henderson, Nevada. The discovery confirmed everyone's worst fears. Morena wasn't missing. She had been murdered, her life violently taken, and her body discarded like an afterthought. The relief of finding her was overshadowed by immense grief, leaving her family and community devastated as they called for justice. As the investigation pushed forward, charges against Sakari Harden and Chance Comanche were upgraded to open murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and first-degree kidnapping. A Clark County grand jury indicted both suspects, and the district attorney even considered pursuing the penalty due to the cruelty and premeditation involved. Ultimately, both accepted plea deals, avoiding the death penalty but receiving lengthy prison sentences, with no possibility of parole for decades. Morena Rodgers was more than a victim. She was a daughter, a sister, and a friend. Her loved ones describe her as compassionate, gentle, and loyal. Her death left a permanent void that no courtroom outcome could ever truly fill. But the most disturbing revelations came from digital forensics. Investigators uncovered an extensive trail of telegram messages between Sakari, Chance, and a third associate. Messages filled with timestamps, emojis, and explicit murder strategies. The conversations laid out days of premeditation, discussions about poisoning Morena, strangling her with rope, snapping her neck, and even debating whether she should be chipped or simply taken. Chance attempted to hire hitmen for $3,000, while Sakari repeatedly pushed him to act sooner. When they failed to find anyone willing to commit the murder, the two decided to do it themselves. Their messages revealed every stage of the plot: how to lure Morena, what lies to tell her, how to restrain her, and what to say if police ever questioned them. It was all there, cold, detailed, step-by-step instructions for taking a woman's life. On December 8, investigators secured a search warrant for Sakari's car, where they found an iPhone 11, an iPhone 12, and an iPad. A second forensic search warrant allowed detectives to download and inspect the digital content, and what they found shocked even seasoned investigators. The entire plan had been documented: the pre-planning phase, where, when, and who would carry out the crime; the execution plan, how they would kill her; and the post-plan, what story to tell if they were ever caught. Everything was written clearly in their own words, leaving behind a disturbing blueprint of a crime that was never meant to be uncovered. What investigators later uncovered in the telegram messages was a chilling timeline that showed just how early and how aggressively the murder plot began. November 30, 2023, 3:50 p.m. Sakari, hello. 8:24 p.m. Sakari, he replied. By this point, the pre-planning phase was fully in motion. Sakari had already told Morena to come to Las Vegas, promising they could make $4,000 in a single night with NBA clients. Behind the scenes, she had also contacted her NBA League ex-boyfriend, Chance Comanche, asking him to find someone willing to kill Morena. Chance agreed, and immediately began searching for a hitman. 9:02 p.m. Chance, he with family right now, he gone tapping in later with me and I'ma run it by him. 10:21 p.m. Sakari, okay Fasho, let me know. December 1, 2023. 3:47 a.m. Sakari, Shorty sent her location. 8:32 a.m. Chance, it's green. The first gave him the baseline info, he going to hit them and get back. 11:05 a.m. Sakari, what you tell them. 11:08 a.m. Chance, gave them her full name, SSN, her IG page, all dat. 11:08 a.m. Sakari, she locked out of her IG, she won't be posting on it no more. You got her full name, tell them here's her card too. 11:10 a.m. Sakari, how you got her full name. 11:11 a.m. Sakari, oh wait, it's on her install. 11:11 a.m. Chance, what her IG? 11:11 a.m. Sakari, she locked out and I think it's private, I don't think that'll help. 11:12 a.m. Chance, I just need the name of it. 11:12 a.m. Sakari, her name is Morena Rogers. 11:13 a.m. Sakari, let me check, she stay changing it. 11:14 a.m. Chance, get her name. 11:14 a.m. Sakari, oh. 2:29 p.m. Sakari, she just got here. 4:27 p.m. Sakari, what's the deal? 5:05 p.m. Sakari, y'all need that done. 5:07 p.m. Sakari sends Chance Morena's address, redacted. 5:07 p.m. Chance, what's the addy for? 5:07 p.m. Chance, that's where she be staying, there's gonna be hella heads there though. 5:09 p.m. Sakari, she can pull up wherever he want her to. I'll tell her go alone obviously. December 1, 2023. 5:09 p.m. Sakari, I'm gonna pretend he's a trick and have her pull up to get it done like that. 5:30 p.m. Chance, I got you light skin. Keep your head low. Sakari was pushing non-stop, barely giving Chance room to breathe, even during his basketball games. 11:17 p.m. Sakari, trying to figure out if I should keep playing friendly with her or say I'm going out of town. I'm trying to delay till we can get this done. I'm only trying to link with our other friends, not her. Sakari spoke about murder like it was nothing, as casually as making weekend plans. 11:20 p.m. Sakari, she said she's down to meet and she'll go by herself. I got it in motion. December 2, 2023. 12:12 a.m. Chance, my ain't hit me back yet. He ain't even opened the telegram. 9:35 a.m. Chance, everything's getting in motion. Patience is a virtue. 1:39 p.m. Sakari, she keep asking me to link. I'm trying to get this over with. Marina had come to Vegas to make money together, not realizing the girl she trusted was actively orchestrating her death. 2:06 p.m. Chance. I told my dog the whole plan. Worst comes to worst, tell Shorty you had to dip on an emergency. Folks trying to get it done. 9:06 p.m. A new Telegram group is created. Pimp named KT3 Twin. A man named Trey joins. Now the active planners are Sakari, Chance, and Trey. 9:08 p.m. Chance to Sakari. It's time. 9:10 p.m. Chance. Run the plan by him so he can relay it. Folks ready. 9:12 p.m. Sakari to group. Have her pull up wherever you think best. Pretend to be a trick and get her when she shows up. 9:15 p.m. Trey. So y'all want her chipped or just took? 9:16 p.m. Sakari. She got a... This was the moment the murder was openly confirmed in their chat. December 3, 2023. 3:49 a.m. Sakari. Well, how it looking? 5:22 a.m. Trey. Trying to find a ghost gun. 8:12 a.m. Chance. He needs some cheese to put some fire under him. Around this time, detectives later noted something chilling. Only Chance's messages remained. Sakari had begun deleting every message she could, wiping out her side of the plot while the murder plan continued to move forward. December 4, 2023. 1:01 p.m. Chance reacts to something Sakari said. My fault for not being a reliable source. The homies I know that got hit is beyond green light time. That's the only reason I hit him. We don't pump fake over here. 1:07 p.m. Chance replies to another unseen message. He said they slow getting back to him this morning, and then this morning said he can't do it. 1:08 p.m. Chance messages Sakari. I called the family in the morning and broke down how effortless it would be, all the little ins and outs. I told him ask the dude and any of his homies how much it would cost, 'cause it's easy bread for real for real. 1:14 p.m. Chance to Sakari. I'm not saying do it yourself, but if it's that easy, why not knock it out? This moment should have been his chance to step back, but instead of backing away, he grew irritated and pushed forward. 1:14 p.m. Chance again, just curious. 1:39 p.m. Chance. Hold up, have you already linked with Shadi while she been out there? At this point, Chance wasn't even in Las Vegas yet. He didn't arrive until 4 p.m. 1:41 p.m. Chance. Need to get that bee, drunk and mix rat poison or something in her drink. 1:41 p.m. Chance reacts with a 100 points emoji to Sakari's message. I've seen her for a few minutes, but I see the energy for sure. 1:42 p.m. Chance. OD her. 2:32 p.m. Chance. It's hella ways to offer MF. 2:32 p.m. Chance reacts to another unseen message. That's if the hit falls through the floor. 2:42 p.m. Chance. SMH. 5:01 p.m. Chance. You got pissed. 11:08 p.m. Chance tells Sakari, hit her. He then messages Marina directly. If possible, I was thinking 1K for like an hour and then possibly longer depending on the vibe winking face. Marina replies, that's perfect. The vibe is great. 11:14 p.m. Chance reacts red heart to Sakari. I'ma use a few other numbers. December 6, 2023. 1:08 a.m. Chance. Been done. I do this for real slightly smiling face. 1:46 a.m. Chance. Yeah, get her on board L. Keep talking about the SH. I'm into. 2 a.m. Chance. Doll, my acting skills are beyond superb. At this point, Chance and Sakari were already with Marina, traveling together, messaging each other behind her back. She had no idea they were planning to kill her. Shortly after 2:45 a.m., they murdered her, ditched her body, and returned to the M Resort at 6:05 a.m. 10:03 a.m. Chance replies to Sakari, they only know what you tell them. He's coaching her on what to say if police reached out. 10:11 a.m. Chance. You got this, boo. This the post-game interview. Just smile and wave slightly smiling face waving hand. 10:41 a.m. Chance. I already deleted that account in the app. 11:13 a.m. Chance. And be quick. We about to take off in a few minutes. 11:17 a.m. Chance. Done. 11:30 a.m. Chance tries to calm her down. She ill. 11:31 a.m. Chance. I'ma hit you when I land. 11:44 a.m. Chance. That wouldn't be a bad look. 4:39 p.m. Chance. They gonna keep tripping. This is about Trey, who many believe was Marina's pimp, and Garrett, his partner. Both were blowing up Sakari's phone because Marina was supposed to be back by 9 a.m., And now the day was halfway gone with no sign of her. 5:18 p.m., chance, and that one crib we was near ain't have a ring. He's reassuring her that authorities won't find footage of what happened. 5:20 p.m., chance, in a team meeting right now. 6:02 p.m., chance, they'll get nothing. It was 2 a.m. at the end of a cul-de-sac. You have a common-looking Benz, it's not like they'd immediately identify the car. 6:03 p.m., chance, my bad, just got back to my room. 6:46 p.m., chance, timestamps are key. And timestamps were exactly what investigators used. Authorities started calling Sakari on December 8th, but she ignored the calls. With the overwhelming digital trail, detectives quickly secured an emergency pen register authorization. On December 13th, they arrested her, not only for first-degree kidnapping but also for theft, after discovering she still had a Rolex that had been reported stolen by a man named Gregory in February 2023. Morena Rogers was genuine, loving, caring, and the complete opposite of self-centered. She was more than just a good friend, she was the kind of person who showed up for people in their darkest moments. She really got me through a lot of dark times in my life, he says. Earlier this month, they decided to take a trip to Las Vegas for a fun getaway, a chance to relax and reset. And the last person he remembers seeing Morena with was this young woman, 19-year-old Sakari Hardin. This wasn't a stranger. This is someone who looked me right in my eye when I dropped Morena off and said, "I'll make sure she's all right." Not only were they close, but Morena had taken Sakari in years earlier when she needed help. Morena treated her like a little sister. She clothed her, fed her, supported her, and cared for her. Nearly 2 weeks after she was reported missing, Las Vegas police found Morena's body in a desert area outside Henderson, Nevada. Detectives now believe that both Hardin and G-League basketball player Chance Comanche played a role in her disappearance and death. It's really sad to see all of these events unfold, he says, still struggling to understand how something so horrible could happen. Even with the discovery, friends and family still have countless questions. I just don't understand what the motive or the reason was for any of this. This tragedy highlights broader issues that reach far beyond this single case, from the dangers women face, to the risks of online encounters, to the vulnerabilities of people involved in sex work. And although justice may have been served in the legal sense, the emotional wounds left behind are deep and painful. Losing Morena is a reminder of how devastating violence and betrayal can be. As we honor her memory, it's important to stay aware, stay informed, and support those who may be at risk. Thank you for watching another episode of Truth and Crimes. Please subscribe to the channel so you never miss future uploads. Share your thoughts about this heartbreaking case in the comments below. We truly value your input. We remain dedicated to bringing you accurate, meaningful, and compelling true crime stories using only verified and reliable information. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon with another powerful and captivating story.